The reason Gervonta Tank Davis called Jake Paul a clown for the second time, this is not the first time that he called him a clown, but these two obviously are John words, and we're going to get all into it. This was a crazy situation over the weekend. Everybody voiced their opinion with the big time bout that took place, in D.C., versus Hector Garcia, which was a big time bout. Two undefeateds going toe to toe. One dude just, couldn't handle the pressure. It's so crazy. I mean, we all knew what was going to be the outcome, but it is what it is. But Jake Paul, man, he continues to, voice his opinions on various different boxing issues, and just anything regarding fights. You're going to hear Jake Paul. Anybody that's unfamiliar with Mr. Jake Paul, obviously the brother of Logan Paul. Logan, I believe they had an exhibition against Money Mayweather. This guy, Jake Paul, he does a lot of different things. Obviously, he's a professional boxer. He just went into MMA, so I'm not sure, what's the ramifications around that. But the Jake Paul, he knocked a couple people out, in his days, recently with this stuff. But, what happened in all seriousness was Gervonta Tank Davis was at the press conference, and pretty much he's at the podium answering various situations, breaking down the fight. And then, a comment came talking about Jake Paul, had told him that, basically he was going to get knocked out by Ryan Garcia. People that say that, I mean, like I said, I think bottom line, somebody's getting knocked out, with the power that's going to be in the square circle. It's going to be a very good bout. It's so crazy because a guy like Jake Paul, I mean, and credit to all the boxers, because it was unfortunate that they had to go through this. You literally have people coming up to professional boxers like Shakur Stevenson, some of these big time professional boxers, to really ask them, can Jake Paul beat them? I think that was very unfortunate. I think it's detrimental to the sport that for people to come ask questions like that when you got a guy having exhibition fights against mixed martial artists who specialize in all forms of fighting, not just striking. You see, boxing is just, striking. MMA, you got to do it all. So he catches a lot of these guys off guard, like the Woodleys of the world. That's why you could see him get in the ring with a Woodley and Anderson Silva, decorated fighters, champions. But this guy comes in and runs circles around them because they're not specialized in striking. This guy, Jake Paul, he is a professional boxer. So he has a leg up over these guys. Now it seems to be like he's going to take his days in there. So it was unfortunate to take his talents to the MMA circuit. We'll get into that shortly. But it was unfortunate that Tank and boxers had to ask. That was crazy. I thought that was disrespectful, man. But I mean, obviously, at a competition, you're gonna have Gervonta Tank Davis. It's not gonna be so amusing, when a guy like that utters some remarks, talking about he's gonna get knocked out, this, that, and the third. But Ryan Garcia has a shot, man. Obviously, I believe that Ryan Garcia is going to be probably not probably more than likely the toughest opponent he's ever fought. Including Cruz, all these guys. I just think that Ryan Garcia is going to present so many different challenges. That some of these other fighters just couldn't do. We've seen what Ryan Garcia has done. King Ryan at his young stage of his career. He's gonna he's gonna continue to do his thing. He just came off a knockout against Fortuna. That was live in Los Angeles. Knocked him out in the 6th round. So clearly this dude has power. You see Gervonta Tank Davis knock out, his opponent in the 8th round. So both opponents will be stepping into the square circle, coming off a knockout, undefeated, multiple violent knockouts on their belt, on their resume. So I mean, it's looking like a spectacular performance. You know, Gervonta with 20 plus knockouts. You got Garcia with 19, right on the cusp. You know, and I'm pretty sure if he would have had that tune-up fight, I believe he would have knocked him out as well. So which would have added another knockout. I believe they both would have rolled in their 20 plus knockouts, you know, apiece, you know, and it's just leading for a huge slugfest. But Jake Paul, man, it's crazy. To be honest with you, they all household names. This guy, Gervonta, was accusing them of pretty much basically using his name, just to get more money and things of that nature. You know, there's a lot that goes into it. But bottom line is we want to see this fight. I'm going to keep beating down the horn. I want to see this fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. It has to happen. We don't want it to happen. It has to happen. You know, Gervonta has stated that himself, not himself, but he stated that Ryan and Golden Boy agreed to all the terms, and he said that on the podium. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. If it seems like, that's what I'm saying, very conflicting reports. You know, where you have one guy saying this, the other guy saying that. So I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. You know, so we gotta figure this whole situation out. You know, for the betterment of all parties. You know, because like I stated before, this would be hurtful. You know, it's like look what happened with the Spence Crawford situation. You know, for the people that's into it, you got the top welterweights in the game. You know, really supposed to lock horns, but pardon me, but it always seems to be something that's holding it up. You know, and as you can see, continuously we see that. But Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, everybody was excited for this to happen, you know. But out of nowhere, it seemed like it was out of sight, out of mind, and we don't know if it will ever come back, you know. But it is what it is at the end of the day. But we cannot have a situation take place between these two opponents. Like I said, that would be a gut punch, you know. Terrence Crawford, you know, he's signed with Black Prime right now, doing his thing, 39-0, 30 violent wins by the way of knockout. You know, we want to see him go against Spence, just like we want to see. I'm reminding you, these guys are getting up there in age. You got Tank, you know, kind of getting. He's not getting up there, but you know, clearly one guy is more of is younger. You know, I'm not gonna say just miles away, but we don't want to get to a point where the age gaps, you know, and the guys are not really in their primes like we've seen in previous events. So let's get this over and done with. But nonetheless, that's the real reason why, you know, he was called the clown. But shout out to Jake Paul, man. He doing this thing. Let's see what he does in MMA. We're gonna be monitoring the situation. It's Flight Sports.